So you want to live on a beach in Spain.
Well, that's going to require some remote work. Is that it? Did I go to the beach just to record one line?
No, I actually came here to film this one as well, but that's not the point. The point is,
maybe you picked a career that's not fit for this lifestyle. So how do you switch careers? Have no fear. Everyone is talking about remote work, financial freedom, the ability to live anywhere, but how do you get started? I'd like to tell you a story of how I went from working as an electrical engineer in a cubicle in Michigan to my current sunny remote life in Spain. I'd like to pass on knowledge that took me years to obtain and hopefully make your journey a lot easier and a lot quicker. I started electrical engineering in 2011 at the University of Windsor. Let's go Lancers, but quickly started hating the program more and more. Each year, it got progressively more difficult and less interesting. The writing for me was already sort of on the wall, but logically, I knew I had to at least give this career a real chance and start working. Within a few months of graduating, I got my first job for a massive automotive company in Michigan. Unfortunately for me, going from a classroom to a cubicle was not a great transition. Within the first 3 months of my new automotive engineering job, I started to feel a real sense of panic. I had to wake up every day at 7 a.m., drive 1 hour to work, sit in a box for 8 hours, and then drive 1 hour back. The miserable winter did not help in Michigan, and just imagining doing this 10 hours a day every single workday for 40 years was a daunting thought. Is this really it? Is this what making it feels like? I purchased my first camera shortly after. Nothing like a little fear to motivate you into doing things. The option was clear: find out what I really want to do or be stuck in this gulag for close to 4 decades.
But let's backtrack a little bit. This is actually where it all started. No, not some random courts in Valencia, Spain, but on a basketball court. See, when I was in high school, my friends were trying to get scholarships, and to get a scholarship, you need to send some sort of mixtape to a recruiter or agent or a school. They came to me because they trusted me that I was a tech-savvy guy and I could figure out how to do some basic video editing. But these projects, looking back at it, are some of my favorites. I got to work on these projects with my friends, I got to work on them whenever I wanted, and I got pretty much endless creative freedom. At the time, however, video editing wasn't really seen as a career, and no one in my circle knew what it could potentially turn into. But the seed was planted, and I had some ideas as YouTube continued to grow about one day potentially starting my own channel. It was many years later that I finally grew some balls and started making my own content.
Don't.
It's a bad idea. Please.
Don't buy EA products.
No, seriously, don't.
Have you tried FIFA this year?
What's the point?
And welcome to another episode of SBCs with Bob Ross. Today, we're going to be looking at the joys of FIFA 20.
Nelly looks like your average 26-year-old white guy, but what you don't know might surprise you. He is a sick person that plays 5 in the back on Weekend League in July.
What is up, guys? My name is Nelly, and this is my attempt at making a YouTube channel.
It was a video game I was good at, and I figured it's better to start here than nothing. I can be creative, I can be goofy, I can make some fun content. These are things I was not getting in my career. As I continued working in engineering, I started to realize that this wasn't going to ever be my true path in life. I fell more and more in love with making content. Playing the game, writing jokes, streaming, and so on. It took me years to get any traction on my channel, but I felt like I was progressing. There was no real playbook at the time. I learned everything from trial and error. Although most of my videos got barely any views, some of my comedy videos got thousands and tens of thousands of views. Myself and a couple of friends also made a FIFA podcast, which at one point was the #1 FIFA podcast on the planet. Even if that statement is only true for a couple weeks, it still counts, but there still wasn't much of a thought of a career coming out of this.
Several engineering jobs later, and 5 years into the content game, I struck a little bit of good luck. See, I do believe in the expression, everything happens for a reason. In 2019, I visited Valencia for the first time and absolutely fell in love with this place. I would do anything to get out of Canada and move here. The only option at the time was to pursue a master's degree in engineering, and I know what you're thinking, that's probably not what you want to do, Nelly, if you hate engineering. The reality is, I hated living in Canada more, and although it wasn't a logical move at the time, it actually led to me getting my first ever content creator job. This job would eventually give me the freedom to move here.
So I quit a $75,000 US engineering job to start my master's. Then COVID happened.
China has identified the cause of the
mysterious new virus,
coronavirus.
This was actually a blessing for my career. Forcing my hand meant that I had to start the program online, and a few months into the master's program, I realized I actually had quite a bit of spare time, which meant I could potentially get a part-time job. Engineering side jobs or part-time work isn't really something that exists from my understanding at least, so I thought I would give content creator positions a chance. At this point, I'm about 5 years into the content creator game, or whatever you want to call it. I have a FIFA channel with 20,000 subscribers. I have over 3 million views. My friends and I have created over 100 episodes of our FIFA podcast, and I've had several viral videos. Truthfully, I didn't realize how powerful these accolades actually were. When I started applying on AngelList, I got more interviews per application than I ever did in engineering. But the question was, why? Here's what I think. Startups really value self-starters. People that did it their own way and people that they do not need to babysit. And I think I was a self-starter in the truest sense. I learned all the software on my own. I learned how to market my own content and find my niche. I worked lots of hours on the side to build my audience, which showed true passion and dedication, and I had a massive content portfolio at that point. These companies really valued that, at least I think, and my engineering background only made me more interesting to the average recruiter.
Oh, Mitch, I think I actually got one of your guys here. We got an engineer. He's probably for a different department, right? I'm assuming. No? Really? No fucking way. Bring him in, right? Let's see what this guy's got. After a few interviews, I was offered a job that paid way more than I would ever make as an engineer in Spain. I almost couldn't believe it. It was a job where I would have to create content regularly on YouTube for a crypto tax company. So I took it and I quit my master's. I took the leap. It's been almost 3 years since that decision, and honestly, I have never been more happy and I've never had more free time in my life. I live where I want and I work when I want. I've even started to see the potential on the revenue side of things, and I think it's going to surpass engineering by miles. My ultimate goal is to continue building my own content and one day hopefully work for no one except my audience. Okay, so now you have the full story. What are some key takeaways that you can apply? Firstly, if you are 100% sure that you are in the wrong career, start working towards a career that you want. This will not be easy, but do whatever you can to progress. Don't go all out and quit your job, do it strategically. I'll be really honest, I was a progressively worse engineer as my career went on. Why, you might ask? Well, because I was in love with this other thing. I would spend time at work writing scripts, thinking of video formats, coming up with film locations, recording voiceovers, and so on. I knew engineering wasn't for me, and with that in mind, I accepted I wasn't going to stay here for a long time. If possible, do just enough work to get by. I know it sounds like a horrible thing to say out loud, but let's think about it logically. If you know you're not going to stay in this career, why suck up to the manager, work extra hours, or take on extra assignments? Don't. Invest that time and effort into the thing that you actually want. So how do you find projects? Since that time, competition has increased, but so have the opportunities. If you're looking for work, start within your network. Reach out to people around you and see if any of them need your expertise. Maybe you don't have expertise. Maybe you're the one that needs to learn something. Okay, offer to work for free. Do not underestimate the power of obtaining knowledge. Some of the best things I've accomplished in my life, I've done it for free and without even thinking about getting something out of it. Some of the connections I've made for free work are worth more than gold. If you're looking for some work in the space that I'm in, I recommend looking up freelance websites like Upwork and Fiverr. There are countless others. You can just Google it or ChatGPT it till you find a bunch of different ones. The point here is to start building a portfolio. So speaking of portfolios, I thought I would show you what mine looks like on Wellfound, which was known as AngelList in the past. It's a really good place to find startups looking for employees.
I don't even know if there's a follow feature on Well-Found, but if there is, drop me a follow maybe? I don't know. But as you can see, this is my portfolio. So what do I have here? I've written that I have millions of views and millions of hours of watch time. The hours of watch time is important in my opinion because that means I've made decent content. It doesn't mean I'm just clickbaiting and making garbage. So this is content I've made for myself and companies / brands I've worked with. My projects include a wide variety of content from documentaries to educational videos to comedy videos to ads to my podcast and lastly short form content. Each of these videos shows a different skill set, whether it's interviewing people on my podcast or understanding how to make a 30-second ad, which is very important for companies that are trying to sell or move a product on Google, to my witty, outstanding script writing. Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. Listen, I spent a lot of this video talking about content creation, but I didn't talk about video editing. If you'd like to become a video editor, consider this section as a bonus. About a year ago, a friend heard about my Spanish adventures and wanted to know how the hell I did this stuff. How am I living remotely? How am I working whenever I want? See, the appeal for him was that he was trying to become a professional football player and he needed to make some money on the side. So the only careers that accompany that kind of stuff is freelance and remote work. So I sat down with him and I outlined a complete strategy and told him, if you'd like to go down this route, I will gladly help you, but you have to have a little trust in me. So he got to work, making videos for the first couple of months, making $0. But then eventually he started to snowball and get more and more clients. Now he can do it pretty much full time. The only thing is he doesn't want to. He wants to focus on his football and keep the video editing to the side. If you're interested in becoming a video editor in a really quick amount of time, or you want to hear a story of someone that did, I strongly recommend this podcast that I did with my friend. And if you ask me, it's also a pretty funny podcast. We got some brewskis and goofed around quite a bit.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
I just want to say this did not happen overnight. This took quite a bit of time, but it shows companies all the different things that I could potentially do for them. So take on as many projects as you can on freelance websites or from people in your network and start building your own portfolio. Okay, once you feel comfortable with your skill set, then you can go on websites like Well-Found, LinkedIn, Remote.io, and countless others to find part-time and full-time work. If you're still striking out with everything that I've said here, then you can start creating your own content. Start a blog, social media page, make videos, etc. This will probably be a longer route, but it's a very valuable option. You will learn the most when you are forced to find solutions to your own problems. Softwares I'd recommend in this space include Sony Vegas or Premiere for video editing, Canva or Photoshop for photo editing, Audacity for audio editing, and I'd recommend taking a deep dive into some AI programs like ChatGPT for script writing and research, as well as Midjourney for generating images to use in your own content. Keep in mind there are countless other AI programs and probably even more when you're watching this video, so find whatever you'd like that will help you on your journey. Lastly, this can be a long journey, so be patient and understand your goal. You're not failing if you don't achieve it right away. You only fail when you give up. If you need anything or have any questions, I will leave an email down below. Do not be afraid to reach out and ask me whatever you'd like. I will try my best to help you out. I just wish you all the best on your journey.